slightly different from what we've been doing in the past. This week, teachers are going to focus a lot on writing. So our live lessons will be focused on writing instruction. So your reading lessons this week will be pre-recorded videos, similar to what you've had in math and in science so far. So let's take a look. Before we jump in and I show you the folders on Schoology, I want you to look at this performance task right here. Each week in reading, we have so far been focused on a performance task, basically a question that is going to guide our instruction throughout the week, and the goal is that we can answer this question by the end of the week. So this week we are going to read this text, Tying the Score. After reading Tying the Score, identify the structure the author used to present information in early days. How does the way the author organized this section help us understand the information provided? Be sure to use evidence from the text to support your answer. So, when I look at this question, there's a lot of information here, guys, but just to kind of give you like a preview of what we're going to do this week, we're going to talk a lot about text structure. You've probably heard that before in 3rd grade, but that's the way that the author can organize a nonfiction text. When we're talking about text structures, we're talking about problem and solution, compare and contrast, description, cause and effect, sequence or order. So I'm going to jump over now to Schoology so that you guys can take a look at the week to see what we're going to focus on in reading. In the reading folder here, I'm going to open up week 4. You guys are watching this overview video, so I'm going to go into Tuesday's folder. Tuesday looks like a lot. Please don't be alarmed. Please make sure this week you're reading through the directions very carefully. This was a lot of work for your teachers to complete these pre-recorded videos for reading. That's usually something we do live, so please make sure you're paying close attention to the steps and the directions this week. You're going to start off, you're going to learn a little bit more about text structure watching this fun vocabulary video. Then you're going to create an anchor chart in your ELA notebook. I'm going to walk you through the different text structures, some of the key words you might hear, and even graphic organizers that we might use to track our thinking. You will work in your workbook this week. That's like the thin workbook included with your reading books. It should say Making Meaning across the top. If you do not, for some reason, have that workbook, here's a copy of the text you'll be using today and tomorrow. There's a video right here. This is myself, Mrs. Body, going through a read aloud of Tying the Score. We talk about some of the nonfiction text features, and then tomorrow we're going to talk more about the structure of one of those sections in the text. There's a discussion board that you're going to respond to on Tuesday after you watch this read aloud of the text Tying the Score. Then you have new vocabulary words. These words come from the text Shattering Earthquakes that we read last week. Here are the definitions and the words for the week, and then the vocabulary video for day 1. There's nothing to do for vocab on Tuesday. And now let's take a look at Wednesday. Again, you see the directions right here. You're going to follow along in that Making Meaning workbook. We're going to go back into Tying the Score. Again, we talk about the structure in one of the sections of the text, and we even complete a portion of a graphic organizer together. You're going to watch the vocabulary video for day 2. Then you're going to complete the Frayer model. Remember, if you do not know what a Frayer model is, you can open this document and hopefully that will jog your memory. If not, there is a video that we've included that talks about how to complete the Frayer model. And now let's go into Thursday. Thursday, you're again using your Making Meaning workbook, but we're going to turn to pages 10 and 11. We're going to talk about this text. It's called Food for Thought. Again, if for some reason you don't have your workbook and you can't follow along, the text is here. It's just 2 pages, so you can print that if you'd like to. In this video, I go through and I read the text Food for Thought with you. Again, we talk about some of the nonfiction text features. We also talk again about text structure. Mrs. Connor has included here a text structure practice activity. These are task cards. You're going to read through a paragraph of text, and you have to determine which structure the author has used to organize that text. Finally, last thing you need to do is watch this vocabulary video. You will be introduced to 3 new words. Again, they're from the text Shattering Earthquakes. Now let's go back up. Friday. We're following along again in the text Food for Thought. This is a very short video where we're going to go through food for thought, but then we're also going to talk about what you guys are doing independently. You're actually going to go back to the text Tying the Score. It's in your workbook, and you are going to complete the final or third section of this graphic organizer. We did the first 2 sections together, the first one with the text Tying the Score, the second one where we identified the structure in the section Lighten Up in Food for Thought. You are going to complete this graphic organizer for the section of text in Tying the Score called Early Days. After you do that, there is a performance task. It is the performance task that we started when we introduced or began this overview video, and then you will respond and submit that here. There is a small text structure quiz. Again, those are those task cards. They're just a different set of task cards that Mrs. Connor has created. And last but not least, you will watch the vocabulary video. It's the second day of those next 3 words. And the last thing you will do is complete the Frere model for each of the vocabulary words from that day 4 video. Please let your teacher know if you have any questions, and we look forward to seeing you in writing this week. Thanks.